Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, are you ready? Are you ready to put your conspiracy caps on and dive into conspiracy theories? I just thought we'd have some fun with this today. That's right. There's not a whole lot going on right now in the cruising industry as the cruise lines try and figure out what's going on, how to appease the CDC and get those test cruises approved and then get passengers launched and how long it's going to take, etc., etc., etc. So we have now, a lot of people are messaging me saying that the reason that the cruise lines now they ended the no sail order. But like everybody else in the world, and I mean the world, every other country in the world that's tried to start up cruising has said, okay, you have your protocols in place. Those are the good protocols. Okay, you can start cruising. Here in North America, we're the only country in the world so far that has said you have to do test cruises, you have to fill out these other things, and then we have to evaluate those test cruises, and then we have to approve you to sail again. So while they lift the no sail order, they didn't really lift the no sail order. While you can cruise again, you can't until they still say you can, if you know what I mean. So a lot of people are messaging me saying that this is exactly what the CDC, as soon as the government met with the COVID task force and the president was overruled, not the president of the United States, the president of the CDC was overruled because he wanted to ban cruising until February, after February. And people said, well, they were forced to extend it only 30 days, and then they told them they had to lift the no sail order. Basically, the government was telling the CDC, you have to lift the no sail order, because in October they re-emphasized the fact that they say cruising is a level 3 warning, do not cruise, cruising is bad, do not cruise. And yet they were going to lift the no sail order. Those things kind of contradicted themselves, right? So people have now said that the reason they came out with all these restrictions and the very in-depth testing and protocols and extra testing, more than the other countries are doing, which I'm okay with actually, is that it will take so long for the cruise lines to get that ready and go through the process that it's going to take till the end of February to do it. And so the CDC gets their way. As much as I'd like to say, hey, that's conspiracy theory, it kind of lines up, doesn't it? Doesn't it kind of line up exactly with what they wanted to do in the first place? Isn't that strange how that happened? Oh, by the way, your ships that are coming into the country have to stay away for 28 days. You have to fill in these forms. So there's another month. So they had already stopped. So there's October, there's November. Now you have to, individual ships have to put in proposals to start sailing test cruises for short cruises, and we're not going to tell you how many until we approve you. You have to do these test cruises, fill out those forms, we'll evaluate them, and then we'll get back to you on whether or not you need to continue doing more test cruises. And it goes on and on and on. And so, yeah, like my inbox in my emails is just flooded with people saying the CDC did this so that they get their way. It's like, I'm taking my ball and going home. The heck with you guys, spoiled little brat. And I never want to think that people do that, right? I never want to think the worst of an organization that's supposed to be looking after our health. But I have been questioning all along why they have been so focused on only cruise ships, not hotels, not theme parks, not airlines, not schools, not any place else. Not any place else. And here's the thing, a friend of mine just contacted me. She lives in Florida. She said she just lost her sense of smell and has started to feel like cold-like symptoms. So she's quarantined herself. And I asked, oh, where have you been? Have you been out to bars? Have you been out to... She says, the only place I've gone, and she wears a mask every place she goes, the only place she's gone is the grocery store. That's the only place she's left her house for in the last month, is a grocery store. So you see how I was always wondering, why are they so focused only on cruise ships? And to this day, I don't know. I really don't know why that was such a thing. If you're worried about, a bunch of people from other countries coming into the USA and them coming down ill, and you have to look after them here, then only allow cruise ships from people in the United States. You see, you can do it that way, but they just outright didn't want to deal with it. And if you also notice, what else is supposed to be over by February? This crazy, crazy election that's going on that won't be decided really until sometime next year by the looks of things. It's just all over the place. It's just completely nuts, right? So were they hoping for a change in government where hoping that they would not be pressured into opening things up and they could keep things? Is that why they introduced all these restrictions? Because when they met with the White House and they would put in these proposals, at no point was ever, other than the cruise line saying they might send their own ships out, couple test cruises, make sure the employees are doing good and ready to go, and then we'll start bringing people on. That's completely different than having to pass a set of regulations put out and, being monitored by a government entity, and will scrutinize every single thing that's on that cruise. So if you come back from a 6-day cruise, 4-day cruise, and they go, well, you know what? We don't think there was quite enough hand sanitizer available on deck 2. So you have to do another cruise. And then you go out, you do another cruise. And you come back and they say, well, you did really good with the hand sanitizer and everything, but you know what? We think you need to clean the public bathrooms one more time a day. And you have to go out and do another cruise. And they can keep extending and extending and extending the reason they're not sailing indefinitely, really, under these restrictions. And so, yeah, the conspiracy theories out there are just all over this. And, as much as I don't want to believe it, it does look, awful suspicious that all of us, again, we are the only government entity out there that has put such huge restrictions on trying to start the cruise industry. Every other industry out there, place has been working with the cruise lines and developing in cooperations safe protocols. Only here in North America have we had an adversarial talk, and people are pointing out, well, look at Thane. He's talking in the Royal Caribbean, and he likes the fact that they had these protocols in place and now the no sail orders lifted. He's very, very optimistic. What else is he going to say? He's not going to come out and say, man, the CDC is just putting the screws to us again. They're just doing it to us again. He can't. He needs the cruise lines to get approved. He needs the CDC to approve all these things. So he's not going to say a word. None of the cruise line CEOs are going to say a word about this because obviously they don't want to tick off the CDC. So there's a lot of that going on. That I completely understand. Now here's the thing. Do you believe the conspiracy theorists? Do you think that the only reason they instituted all these test cruises and restrictions and guidelines and 28 days and all that other stuff is simply because they wanted to keep this going until at least February, when they originally wanted to shut things down, and the election would be decided by then, and things would look maybe look completely different as far as the way the government and the CDC were operating. It kind of makes sense, as much as we don't want to believe it. I don't know. I don't live in the United States. I live here in Canada, and things are a lot different as far as, elections and government officials, and our FDA is kind of like our CDC here, and it works completely different. So I want you guys to tell me, do you think the conspiracy theorists have something here, or do you think they're just grasping at it, or do you just think it really looks too convenient that it seems to line up exactly with the original shutdown that the CDC president wanted to do? Let me know in the comments down below. In the meantime, we're just having fun. This is not anything too serious to get involved with, guys. It literally is, it's like, did men really land on the moon? Is the earth really flat? All that kind of stuff. So I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Till next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.